one song we did at Electric Ladyland in New York City, Jimi Hendrix's studio at the time. And it was 2 takes on the drums, 2 takes. And then Bob would play the guitar, then Richard would play the bass, and Ivan would do his part. There were 2 guitar players in the group. The drums have to be the first, it has to be the foundation of the song, so they have something to follow. Usually in a studio situation you might make mistakes. You might speed up, slow down, so the drums there are really acting as a click track to the rhythm guitar play, and then eventually the vocals, and Richard will lay his vocals down. So for me it took 2 takes. I mean, we rehearsed a lot, so it's very important to rehearse. So before you go into the studio, you're not going to rack up studio time. You know it very well, and you know, after the 3rd, 4th, 5th take, you lose the spontaneity of the 1st and 2nd, attempt. So that's how that was recorded. Very easy, very simple, and it was about 3, 4 in the morning, around there. Springtime, 1977. Well, you got to understand, when you tour, this is the reason we broke up. We did 2 albums. We were 15, 16, going on 17. A lot of places serve alcohol, so you got to bring an authoritative figure with you, like your parents or your older brother, and they won't let you play because they serve alcohol. So that was one of our problems. Plus we had to finish school to get the diploma up on the wall that your parents wanted up there, you know. So I had to do that. But I found a solution. I could goof off for 10 months and rehearse and play with the group and go to summer school and night school for 2 months in the summer. So I passed all my exams and classes in the summer for 2 months and slacked off for 10 months, just playing and trying to get better and more experience. But when we were 15, 16, we weren't familiar with the studio. It was analog, it was 16 track, and we definitely had to have a guy that knew how to produce. So we were one of the first heavy metal bands in America. And obviously Black Sabbath and bands like that in England were the first ones to really start it. I think, that's my opinion. We were about a year behind them. So you needed a good producer to get that sound in the studio, because the genre of music was still new. So we did the 2 albums, entered the top 100 in America, but our manager was sick and tired of having to deal with our parents, who always complained, when are they coming back? They got to do their homework, they have to graduate, this and that, which is understandable. That's how parents are. They Buddha Kama Sutra, the same, which eventually became Casablanca, and they signed Kiss and Donna Summer. There was a camaraderie, and we all respected what we were doing. We're all different. No one sounded like anybody else. And basically, we were the only people there. But then, people started hearing about CBGBs, this type of music, which you call punk rock, and they were curiosity seekers. They'd come in, see us. There'd be 20 people in the audience. Then you play again, there'd be 50. Then it would balloon up to 100, 150. CBGB's legally only holds 250 people. And then it got to a point where all these groups, we couldn't play there anymore because there were too many people that wanted to come see us. Linda Ronstadt came in there and ran out. She didn't...
frame that. Linda Ronstadt was kind of a massive sort of... She flirted with disco a bit, but it was very...
Right.
It was kind of a bit of
country rock,
meets
yeah.
A bit of, pop.
She was appalled. It's a choice. What are you going to do? But then people started hanging out. Other people like Andy Warhol. The Stones would come by. All these luminaries, punk, hard rock, rock and roll luminaries would come by and observe what this scene was all about. But at that point, We all felt that rock needed a big kick in the ass. It really did. It was getting bloated. It was getting, again, very self-indulgent. You look at an album, there were only 5 songs on it, you know? And I mean, I can mention names of bands that were into that, but that's why the punk scene started. The last band I played with was Richard Hell of Voidoids before I joined Ramones. We did a tour with The Clash in England in 1977, from September to October. After that, Richard didn't want to tour anymore. I did. I always liked touring and playing. So Dee Dee Ramone approached me and said Tommy, who was their first drummer, wanted to stop. He didn't want to tour anymore. He was only in the band 3 years, so I asked Dee Dee what was the problem. He goes, he wants to produce, and that's his choice. So they wanted me in the group, and I just went to a rehearsal with them. And before that, they gave me a few songs to learn. I already knew them through the jukebox and CBGB. Sheena's a punk rocker, I don't care. Blitzkrieg Bop and all this stuff. And the addition worked. And it was that simple, that Dee Dee Ramone, who I knew before I joined the Ramones, asked. He was the main songwriter of the group with Joey. So I said, of course I'll play with you. It was the Ramones, you know. Yeah, I never saw anything like them. There were no lead guitar stuff in it. It was just a barrage of eighth notes coming at you, which created a wall of sound. And I loved it. There was no pretensions, and it was great. And I loved the song structures, the melodies, the timing of the songs. I liked Dee Dee when he counted 1, 2, 3, 4 before each song. There was no talk about the weather. There was no talk about social issues. It was just the music, and that's what the people came for. And we weren't aware of anything. We just did songs because we liked them. We didn't do a song to have a hit. We just wanted to make sure the songs were good. But eventually, now the songs are bigger than ever, but because more people know the Ramones and are more open to this genre of music than they were back then when it came out. When you get into a band, you're going to have merchandise. Right away, it's a corporation. You're a corporation. We live, whether we like it or not, in a capitalistic society. Then you get offers for commercials. You can turn them down, or you can be in it, or you can say no, and then you won't get to as many people. I look at it that way. If you're in a commercial and it goes on TV or radio, you're going to be exposed to millions of more people. So it's good and bad, but that's the way it goes. In the music business, whether we like it or not, that's what happens.
It is the business.
And that's the way it is. Other things come with just being in a group.